Hi everyone, welcome to my next festive Christmassy granny square tutorial. In my last video I showed you how to do my snowflake granny square. If you want to go check that out, I'll put the link in the description below. But in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make my little Father Christmas face Santa granny square. Okay, so for this tutorial we're going to need some red yarn. So this is all a DK light worsted weight yarn, so it's a yarn weight of 3. So got that in red, got some white for his beard, got some pink and a little tiny bit of black for the eyes as well. And with that we're going to be using a 4mm G crochet hook, and it's also a good idea to have a pair of scissors and a yarn tapestry needle as well. Okay, you can use any yarn that you like, any hook size that's suitable for the yarn that you're using, but I do recommend using this weight or at least a Aran worsted weight yarn, just so that it all fits best. And these squares measure, these are both the same size, they measure 4 inches by 4 inches or 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters, and they're both the same size. I've designed that specifically so you can turn them into a blanket. There's also a third square on the horizon, a little C2C Christmassy tree, so hopefully I'll share that one as well. So I've got so many projects coming out of my ears. I've even got a sparkly star that I'm hopefully going to share with you as well, so running out of time. But to begin on this one we're going to start with the pink yarn. Okay, to begin, so let's get our pink yarn. It's a little bit fiddly, this pattern, but hopefully you'll give it a go. So we're going to take our pink yarn and we're going to chain 4 to begin. So we'll do our little slip knot first. Okay, and then we're going to chain 4. So chain 1, 2, 3, and 4. So chain 4. I'm going to put our hook into our first chain. Bring the yarn through the first chain and straight for the loop on your hook. Just do a 4 chain loop. In the middle is a hole. Don't confuse it with your first chain hole, which can look quite big. And into the center of this 4 chain loop we're going to do 6 double crochets. This pattern's in US terminology, but in UK terminology that's a treble. So we're going to yarn over, put our hook into center and bring the yarn through the middle, just wrapping it around, do a double crochet. We want 6 of those, so go back in again, do another one, 2, then next one, 3, next one, 4, then next one, 5. Then on the 6th one we're going to join our white yarn, so just go in, bring the yarn through, pull through 2, but just before you finish your stitch, instead of yarning over with the pink we're going to get our white yarn. So we're going to place that over our hook. I'm just going to hold that in place and bring that through to complete the stitch. Now we're working with our white. Okay, so now we're working with our white yarn, and we're going to do 6 little cluster puffy stitches, and to do that we're going to yarn over. We're going to go into the center as well. I'm just going to carry all the yarn, especially the pink as well, so I'm just going to put that to the side, go in and just wrapping it around all those threads, bring the yarn through and then bring up a little loop like that. I'm going to yarn over again, go back into the hole again and then bring up a loop. So you've got 5 loops on your hook. We'll do that once more, yarn over, go into the center, bring the yarn through. You end up with 7 loops. Then we're going to yarn over, pull through all 7 loops to do like a little puff stitch. And then we're going to do another one. So we want 6 of these. So then we yarn over, go back in. Again, I'm carrying all these bits of tail ends and everything. Bring up a loop, yarn over, go back into the center, bring up a loop, yarn over to the center, bring up a loop, got 7 loops, yarn over, pull through all 7. Okay, for another one. And you're going to have to move these over to fit them in. We want 6 of those. So again, bring up a loop, yarn over to the center, bring up a loop, yarn over, bring up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 7 loops. Okay, that's 3. I want 3 more. 2, 3, yarn over. Okay, so that's 4. And see if you can squeeze in 2 more. This is why I recommend only using this weight yarn rather than a thicker yarn, because you'll struggle a bit more with a thicker yarn. So our next one. 5. Okay, so we've got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 more. We got, there we go. So there is our 6th little puffy stitch, and then what we want to do is slip stitch into our first double crochet. So if you can find your first pink double crochet, it's going to be hidden down here a little bit. Make sure you don't miss it. Put your hook into there. And what we want to do, instead of yarning over with the white, we're going to yarn over with the pink, which hopefully you've carried along. We're going to bring that through to do a slip stitch. And now we're working with the pink again. And hopefully you've got a tiny little Santa face. Okay, so we're going to move on to round 2. Start off with a little chain 1. Little chain 1. I'm not going to count that as a stitch. For this round, we want to work into the front loops only. So we're going to do 2 double crochet in the same stitch we just slip stitched into, but instead of going under both loops, we need to just go under the front loop. We'll do 2 double crochet in there. 1 and 2. And it's also a good idea to carry your white as well. So just put that over your hook. 2. We'll do 2 double crochet in the next 5 stitches as well, but in the front loops only. So yarn over. So in the next stitch, instead of going under both loops, we're just going under the front loop. You need to carry the white, not the tail end, just the white. Do 2 double crochet. 1 and 2. Then 2 double crochet in the next front loop. So again, instead of going under both loops, just go under that first loop, carry the white. So it looks like you're going under 2 loops. Do 2 double crochet. 1 and 2. Okay, then 2 double crochet in the next front loop, carry the white. 1 and 2. And what you're doing is you're leaving these back loops for later. 2 in the next front loop, so not both loops, just the front loop, but we're carrying the white. 1 and 2. And 2 in the last stitch, the sixth stitch. Okay, just the front loop. Carry the yarn. 2 double crochet. But in the last one, we want to join the white. So we go in again, yarn through, pull through 2, but stop there, drop the pink, pick up the white you've been carrying, and yarn over, pull through the last 2 with the white. Now you're working with the white again. And now what we're going to do is we are going to work into our puff stitches. So we're going to yarn over and go into our puff stitch, but again, instead of going under 2 loops, we just want to work under that front loop only. We want to carry the pink this time. We bring up a loop because we're doing puff stitches, yarn over, back into there again, under the pink as well, bring up a loop, yarn over, front loop only, carry the pink, bring up a loop, got 7 loops, yarn over, pull for all 7 loops, and this time we're going to do a little chain 1 in between. I'm going to do that in the remaining 5 puff stitches. So yarn over, go into the next stitch, but instead of going under both loops, just go under the front loop, carry the pink, bring the yarn up, bring up a loop, yarn over, in there again, bring up a loop, yarn over, in there again, bring up a loop, 7 loops, yarn over, pull for all 7, and do a chain 1. Okay, do that 4 more times. So the next stitch, again, don't go under both loops, just the front loop, but carry the pink, do a little puffy stitch, little cluster, pull for all the loops, chain 1, do that 3 more times, front loop only, carry the pink, bring up a loop, yarn over, pull through all the loops, and chain 1. Do it twice more, front loop only, carry the pink, bring up a loop, pull through all the loops, chain 1. That leaves you with 1 stitch, which I've pulled, which is very frustrating. And do that in the last stitch. So yarn over, front loop only, carry the pink, pull through all the loops, chain 1. Then find your first double crochet that you did and slip stitch into there just with your white, like that. And we finished with the pink now, so we're just going to carry on with the white. Do a little chain 1 to begin, don't count that as a stitch. Then in the same stitch you just slip stitch into, we're going to do 1 single crochet. So in UK terminology, that's a double crochet. So just 1 single crochet in there. Then in the next stitch, we're doing 2 single crochet. 1 and 2. And we're going to repeat that over to the other side. So next stitch, 1 single crochet. Then 2 single crochet. 1 and 2. 2 in the same stitch. Then 1 single crochet. Then 2 single crochet, one single crochet, then 2 single crochet, then 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochet, and 2. Then 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. Okay, so you should end on 2 single crochet. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 puff stitch, then chain 1 in the remaining 12 stitches. So in the little chain 1 there, or was that the puff stitch? I think that's the puff stitch actually. Do a puff stitch. So bring up a loop, yarn over into the stitch, bring up a loop, yarn over, loop, yarn over, pull through all the loops, and chain 1. Then do that in the next stitch, which is the chain 1, I think. Do another puff stitch, and chain 1, and just repeat that all the way across to the end. So the next stitch in between, do a puff stitch, and chain 1, then next stitch, do a puff stitch, and chain 1, and just repeat that in the remaining stitches to the end. Okay. Just finishing the last puff stitch, do a little chain 1 just to finish. You should end up with 12 puff stitches on this last row, 12 puff stitches with chain 1s in between. Okay, so when you finish there, find your little first single crochet that you did down here, and we're going to slip stitch into there, but we're going to join some red yarn. So we're going to get our red yarn. Instead of yarning over the white, I'm just going to put our red yarn there, bring that through the loop on your hook, pull that tight, and now we're working with the red yarn. And what we're going to do now is just going to create his little hat, and we're going to slip stitch in the next 3 stitches. So go straight into the next stitch, do a little slip stitch, 1, slip stitch in the next stitch, 2, and slip stitch in the next stitch, 3. Then we are going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet, and a single crochet in the next stitch. Then we're going to do a half double crochet in the next stitch, so that's a half treble in UK terminology. Then we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next stitch, in the next 2 stitches, so 1 and 1 in the double crochet in the next stitch. Okay. Then we're going to do 2 double crochet in the next stitch, 1, 2, and 2 double crochet in the next stitch, 1 and 2. Then we do 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, 1 and 1 in the next stitch. Then we're going to do a half double crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, and we're going to slip stitch in the last couple of stitches, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, slip stitch just up to the edge, so it looks like that. Then what we're going to do is you can cut your yarn there, and we're going to rejoin the white yarn in the top. So just pick a little spot at the top and put your hook, and you can rejoin your yarn or just bring up your yarn, it's up to you. Bring that through, so you're working with the white. We'll do a couple of little puff stitches just on the top, so similar to what we did here. So we're just going to yarn over, go into the stitch, bring the yarn through, yarn over to the stitch, and over, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then I'm going to do another one straight after. You can just do 1 if you prefer. And there we go, he's got a little puff stitch on the end. So I'm going to cut some yarn here, cut the white, cut the red, cut the pink, just pull that through, and then you can hide your tail ends if you want to. Hide your tail ends. And what we're going to do now is we're going to turn little Santa face into a granny square. So we're just going to add the backing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn over and we're going to find those skipped back stitches from this row here. If you can see them there, these little stitches here. And we're going to rejoin in one of the back loops the red. So I'm going to rejoin it. We're facing that way. I'm going to rejoin the one here. So I'm going to tidy up all these tail ends first and then I shall come back and we'll have a look. Okay, so I've tidied up those as best I can. You may want to do a much neater job than me, of course. I'm just doing this for the camera. So what we're going to do, we're going to find these back loops here and you should have 12 of them. Okay, so I'm going to rejoin facing him that way, turning him on his side. I want to find the one that's in between the white and the pink. So I'm going to find, that'll be that one there, little pink one, and put my hook into there, and I'm going to rejoin the red yarn in there, put it over the hook, bring that through, do a little chain one to secure, and then pull that nice and tight. And what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 double crochet in each back loop around. So facing this direction, we're going to start in the same back loop there we just joined and do 2 double crochet. So 1 and another one, 2. I'm going to do 2 double crochet in each back loop around. So you should end up with a stitch count of 24. So find the next back loop, do 2 double crochet in there. 3, 4, and the next one, 5, 6, next one, 7 and 8. And 10. Next one. 11 and 12. So these are all double crochets. 12, 13 and 14. 15 and 16. It's good to count as you go. (17) and 18. 19 and 20. 21 and 22. And then 23 and 24, the last one. So when you've got 24 stitches worked all the way around, what we actually want to do after our 24 is we want to add an extra couple of stitches in between, because you may notice there's a little bit of a gap, and this will help with our square at the end as well. So in between these two, just try and find a little bit of yarn best you can and do an extra couple of double crochets, 1 and 2. Okay, so we end up with a final stitch count of 26. Then we want to find that first double crochet that we made, and we're going to slip stitch into there to join the round. Okay, so by the end of that round you should have a stitch count of 26, so not 24. So now what we're going to do is we are going to do a little chain 1, and we're going to do 2 double crochet in the same stitch we just slip stitched into. So do 2 double crochet in there, 1 and 2. Then we're going to skip 2 stitches, so skip 1, skip 2. Then the next stitch we're going to start off with a double crochet, then we're going to do a treble. So in UK terminology that's a double treble, so yarn over twice, going into the stitch, bring the yarn through, and every time we do a double crochet or bigger you just yarn over, pull through 2 until you get to the end. So yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Okay, then we want to do a little chain 1. We're going to do another treble, so yarn over twice. If you're new to crocheting, then do check out my beginner tutorials. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and finish up with a double crochet all in the same stitch. Okay, so you've got a double crochet, a treble, chain 1, treble, double crochet. Then we're going to skip 1 this time. The next stitch I'm going to do 2 double crochet, 2 double crochet in there, 1 and 2. Okay, so 2 double crochet in there. Then we're going to skip 1 stitch, skip 1, then do 2 double crochet in the next stitch, 1 and 2. Okay, then we're going to skip 1, then the next stitch start off with a double crochet, then we'll do a treble in the same stitch. Oops, I lost that one. Yarn over twice, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, chain 1, another treble in the same stitch, and then a double crochet. Okay, then we're going to skip 2, 1 and 2. I'm going to do 2 double crochet in the next stitch, 1 and 2, then 2 double crochet in the next stitch as well. Okay, then we're going to skip 2, 1 and 2. The next stitch start off with a double crochet, then we do our treble, chain 1, another treble, the same stitch, and a double crochet. Don't worry, I'll put the written versions of these Christmassy granny squares on my website, happyberry.co.uk. Then we're going to skip 1, just 1 this time, and do 2 double crochet in the next stitch. 2 double crochet. Then skip 1, then 2 double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so skip 1, then 2 double crochet. 2 in there. Then we're going to skip 1 and start off with a double crochet, then our treble, chain 1, another treble, same stitch, double crochet, all in the same stitch. Then we're going to skip 2, 1, 2, and then the very last stitch we're going to do 2 double crochet, 1 and 2. Then we're going to slip stitch in our first stitch to join the round. Okay, so hopefully it looks a bit more square shaped beginning to appear. And then before we run out of light, we're going to finish with the last couple of rounds, and we're going to start off with a chain 1, and we're going to work into the gaps in between rather than the stitches this time to create this effect instead. So start off with a little chain 1. We're going to do 2 double crochet in between the first double crochet and this little chain 1, and put our hook into there and do 2 double crochet, 1 and 2 in there. Then we're going to chain 1 and we're going to do 2 double crochet in the next gap in there, big gap. 2 double crochet in there, 1 and 2. And we're going to chain 1. Then in the chain 1 space on the corner, we're going to do 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. So in there, we're going to do 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, all in the same gap on our corner. Then we're going to chain 1 and do 2 double crochet in the next gap. Okay, like that. And we're just going to repeat that all the way to the end. So chain 1, next gap, 2 double crochet, chain 1, next gap, 2 double crochet, chain 1, then on the corner, that chain 1 space, we do 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. This is on the corner. Okay, then we do a chain 1, next gap, 2 double crochet. So just repeat those steps all the way around. Should be fairly simple now. So chain 1, next gap, 2 double crochet. This one is going to be a smaller gap because it's got the 2 double crochets closer together. So but in between there, 2 double crochet, chain 1. So always splitting these up into 2 stitches. Next gap, 2 double crochet, chain 1. Then the chain 1 space in the corner, we do the 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. So you get the idea. I'm desperately trying to finish this before I run out of light. It's the problem with this time of year. It basically starts going dark at 4 o'clock. I did a chain 1 in between there, didn't I? Chain 1, next gap, 2 double crochet, then chain 1. What have we got now? Gap there, 2 double crochet, chain 1, next gap, 2 double crochet, then the corner, do chain 1, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet in the same gap, same chain 1 space, chain 1, the last gap, 2 double crochet. And don't forget to do a little chain 1 and slip stitch in your first double crochet to join the end of that round. just like that. Then finishing up on the very last round, it's very similar. We're going to slip stitch over to our next gap here. So I'm just going to slip stitch in this stitch, and then slip stitch into the gap. Okay, and we're going to do a little chain one to begin, and we're going to do 2 double crochet in this gap. And do a chain 1, 2 double crochet in there, the next gap, and then on the corner again we do a chain 1, and in this chain 1 space in the corner we do the same thing, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. And just repeat that all the way around. So again, just chaining one in between, and do 2 double crochet in each gap around. Doing 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet on the corners. Back to the beginning. You can make this bigger by just following this same pattern. Okay, so then again on the corner, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. That's just on the corners. So hopefully you got the gist of this pattern, and I shall finish this up to the end. This will be the last round for this size, and then we're done. Just going up to the very last little gap, and we just finish up with a little chain 1 before you slip stitch into the end. And that's it for this size, for the 4-inch granny square. Just bring that up there. If you flatten that down, it should look like that. So just make sure that when you rejoin the red yarn, that you join it on the side in between the pink and the white, just so it fits like this. And I'm really running out of light because my camera really doesn't want to focus, so I hope you managed to follow along. All that's left to do is add a couple of eyes and a little smile like this chap here, and you got your little finished Father Christmas Santa granny square. But if you want to know how to join the squares, I'll put a couple of links in the description below to other squares. There's one that I've crocheted together, there's one that I've sewn together, so you can go check those out. But I'll see you soon for some more crochet fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye. Can't believe